Nelson.
So my thesis examined how corporate social responsibility, CSR, impacts profit for corporations. And in short, I found that good CSR practices can predict that firms will earn millions of dollars more per year because of how CSR impacts employee satisfaction. But what is CSR? It's when firms try to be nice to the planet by being eco-friendly and sustainable, and to people by offering good compensation to a diverse workforce and philanthropy work to communities. However, CSR can actually be illegal. That's because corporations have a legal obligation to earn profit for their stockholders. That means if the stock price is not consistently going up, the leadership team can get fired. And so this creates a huge disincentive for corporate leaders to be socially responsible because it can cost money to practice CSR, and that is a problem. So I decided to look at how does CSR affect short-run profits, and I used this framework called the service profit chain. The service profit chain theorizes that as employees are happier, they work harder, which makes customers happier, which means more profit. And my thesis asks, does this chain exist? And if so, can CSR act as a trigger for the employee satisfaction effect? To test this, I decided to use the biggest corporations around, the S&P 500. I used 5 data sources to collect the last 6 years of information on these 500 companies. And in total, I then had about 40,000 data points to sift through. And then, bam, I did statistics. Just kidding. A fancy computer program did statistics, and I watched. Basically, the program used 50 different models to see what kind of patterns came up when comparing these companies with each other and looking at them individually over this 6-year period. Here are the results. It doesn't matter how big the company was or what industry it was part of. Firms with higher CSR scores correspond with higher levels of employee satisfaction. Happy workers appear to work harder, and productivity leads to profit. However, how customer satisfaction fits into all of this is unclear because those results were not consistent among the 50 models. So companies that invested in CSR in the past did incur more expenses. However, in just 1 to 2 years, these companies also had higher average levels of employee satisfaction, which meant they had more productive employees and therefore more profit. In fact, for every 10-point increase in CSR on a scale of 0 to 100, the average firm's expected labor productivity increased by 1.5%, and that is enough to boost profit by $100 million per year. That means that corporate leaders do not just have an economic responsibility to practice good CSR, but they have a moral and legal one as well.